Sure.
Welcome back. This is Billy with Coach Dooley's List, and today we're here at Parkview High School with Coach Jessica Sinclair. Jessica wears a lot of hats. I've known her actually for a really long time.
Yeah.
I coached her in an all-star game when she was a senior. So we're going to talk to her about her coaching journey and, just get some tips on coaching softball. But first off, I want to make sure to remind everybody, if you are enjoying the coaching interviews, to like and subscribe to the YouTube page. And it was really cool today because I got here, I think in the spirit of John Gruden, and Coach gave me a Parkview shirt and also a hat. So I'm very thankful for these.
Go Panthers, baby.
Go Panthers. I love it. And this episode is brought to you by online donations. If you're looking for fundraising for your program, reach out, find them on the website, and we will get you hooked up with a rep in your area. So first off, Coach, tell us a little bit about your coaching journey, how you got involved in softball and coaching, and also your ties with your old programs.
All right. I've been playing softball since I was 9. I was a little later getting into it. Went to Lassiter High School. Won a state championship my senior year, got recruited at Georgia Tech, and that's where I went and played. Won 3 ACC championships there. We were pretty good. And if you know anything about Tech, they don't have an education program. So I wasn't an education major, didn't really know I was going to be an educator, didn't know I was going to be a coach until I actually got injured at Tech. I had 2 ACL surgeries at Tech, and I had some time away from the sport, but I was able to stay around and kind of be a student coach. Coach Perkins, when she was there, allowed me to kind of fall in love with the coaching side. And I found a way to get certified to teach. So I got certified to teach after, as I was volunteering for 1 year with Coach Perkins and Coach Morales as an assistant coach who's there now. So got certified. That's kind of how I got into the teaching, into the coaching. First job was at Appalachia High School. You actually got me that interview, so thank you for that. Shout out. I was a head JV coach for 2 years and then took over the program for another 2 years as a head coach. And then since then, that was 2019, I moved here to Parkview, and I've been here. So this is my 6th year at Parkview as a head coach. So it's kind of been the journey to this point in my life. Yeah.
I love it. And anybody who watches Georgia Tech softball on the ACC network, she is also one of the color commentators for the game. So you definitely stay involved, which I think is really, really cool. And on your coaching journey, obviously being at Appalachia and working, with playing for and working with Coach Perkins at Georgia Tech and all your stops you've made, what is it, you kind of formulate what you want your program to be about. So what is, when somebody steps on the field with Parkview softball, what do they expect to see?
So for me as a coach, I've always wanted to show buy-in as a program. I want people that are watching my players and my program on the field to understand that we are all on the same page, that we have bought into the vision. A lot of times you can see programs, you can watch teams that feel like they're kind of disconnected from each other. And my whole goal is to look like we're all of one mind, right? We're all on the same page, regardless of what it is, because sometimes your goals change per year depending on what you've got, the talent you got, what you're looking at in terms of schedule and stuff like that. So goals can change, but I want my program, my girls, to kind of embody this idea of buy-in, that we have all sat down together and we are all on the same page to accomplish what we've put our mind to. And it's been great here at Parkview. I've got great girls. I'm completely blessed in that situation. Even at Appalachia, I had phenomenal girls too. I've been, some people I've heard have some nightmare situations sometimes, but I've been super blessed with my girls, and we have a ton of buy-in. I don't know if it's just the culture that we can create, but that's really what I want them to look like. I want them to look like we're all on the same page and we're all together. And I think at the end of the day, if you have that, you also look like you're having a ton of fun. So I hope that if you were to ask my girls, that they enjoy being a part of this program. They say it, they like being out here, they miss it when they're not here. So I take that as a good sign.
No, I love what you just said. Like you said, when they miss it when they're not here,
Yeah.
because if you really are building that culture, that is the case, and it's easier to get kids to work. And I actually, something you said made me think about when I was talking with Coach Wilson at Archer, how you had reached out to her to say, hey, what's the scouting report you got on our team? So like really looking to see what other people see about your program and get that. So I thought that was really, really cool. So in all your fun that you have, and you know, I know I've seen videos coaching third and just getting excited about things. So what's one, and you can tell me a couple, but what's one story that really sticks out in your coaching career that just makes you smile?
Oh man, there's a ton. The ones that really stick with me are the funny ones. I had at Appalachia, I had a senior one time tell me she was going to be late to practice because her goats got out. As a city girl, I was a little confused by that, and she sent me a picture of her goats across the field. They were out of the gate. So
I had an assistant coach whose cows got out a lot.
So those are ones that stick with me. But I mean, probably just the best memory was my first year here at Parkview. We went to the Elite Eight, and we weren't really expected to. We had a girl that was just a dog throwing. She wasn't necessarily the most talented. In 7A at that time, but she just threw strikes and she threw, consistently, and the team behind her just played for her, and played for us. And so that was kind of cool. It was my first time coaching down there, so got matched up with East Coweta, so you know how that goes. But it was probably my favorite memory just as a whole as a coach, being able to experience that with a team that like really no one expected us to be there.
I think that's one of the biggest stories I get is the overachievers, or the kids that just shine in situations, which is really cool. So if you had an assistant coach or even a player, like you said, it's really cool as you get older and you're still young, but you have former players that get into coaching and stuff. So if somebody did come to you and said, Coach Sinclair, I want to be a head coach one day, what's a piece of advice you would give them?
So my one thing that I've really stuck to, at least for me, is the idea of being flexible. You have to have your absolutes. Obviously, you have your values as a human and as a coach, and you want to stick to them. You want to make them very clear to your players and your program. But things change. You have to. They're not the same kids. It's not the same times that it was when we were playing 20, 15 years ago, whatever it is. So you got to be flexible. I think it's not fair to coach the same way to every group of kids you have, especially as you shift. And it could just be personalities. I mean, I've graduated 2 girls before and added 1 to varsity and had a completely different team. It only takes one girl to really shift chemistry for better, for worse, whatever it may be. I think it's unfair to try to be the same coach. Obviously, like I said, stick to your absolutes, but be flexible with the kids you have, and understand that like not everything's going to work the same for every group. And I think I've talked to a lot of coaches that get burned out, that get frustrated because they have the same plan every year and they don't understand why it's not working one year, but it works the next year. And so for them, they're just frustrated. It's just a season where they're spending a lot of time miserable instead of, shift to figure out what can work better. Okay, maybe you have to scrap that plan. Maybe that plan's not the way to work with these girls. What to motivate them with, So I think that's the word that I've always made myself go back to, because I can get stuck in that too. I'm like, I've seen this be successful. Why isn't it working here? But if I can remind myself to be flexible and do what's best for the girls you have in front of you, because we don't get to really choose. We get what we get. So you're not out there, asking for a certain type of player. They're just showing up. So being flexible and being able to adjust and adapt, I think, is probably my biggest advice to somebody who's getting into this field, especially with the times as they are now. So.
Well, and I think could be a great piece of advice even for older coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, the longer you do it, the more you sometimes tend to get stuck in your ways. Yeah. And that's really what a lot of these videos are about.
Yeah.
Is my goal really is to help out coaches, and the coaching advice has been very well received, and I think that will too. And one of the big things, obviously, for Coach Dooley's list is to connect coaches with vendors, trying to make their lives a little bit easier. So who's some vendors you've worked with you'd love to shout out to other coaches?
All right. So I have 2. Actually, right now our infield's getting redone. So Jeremy Bullington at All Star Fields is who's redone our infield and our warning track. And anytime we have anything that needs to get redone there, he's who I call, and he's great, really quick, gets out here when we can, and gets his job done fast. I mean, he's about to be done. He started yesterday, so couldn't ask for anything. Exactly. And then Damon Gober at Shuma Sports. That's who we do all of our. I have all of the gear right here. All of our. Yeah, and that's where we get the hat from. Yeah. All of our gear, all of our spirit store, everything. He was working with Parkview baseball when I got here, and so I kind of just got given his number, but he's been phenomenal. He shows up to the school when I need him. He'll sit down with me. We'll look through things, and him and everybody at Shuma have been really, really accessible and quick. And I've really never had, if I have any issues, they fix it right away. And I really like the gear they provide to us. So
grab one of those bags.
Oh yeah.
I love
the girls
these.
are going to love it because it's
they
white.
haven't seen them yet?
No, they haven't.
Are they going to see them before this airs?
Maybe. Yeah, they'll say they're going to today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hold that up. Yeah, these are sweet.
Oh, they're going to get so dirty.
And well, that was my first thought coming in, but I know they'll love them. But I always think about this. One of my big things with coaches is there are bags everywhere. So if you've got hooks, and they never want to hang them on the hook, but maybe the white one will force them to keep them on the hooks, and so you won't trip on everything in the dugout.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, that's awesome. And both All-Star Restoration and Shuma Sports are on the website, which is great. So you can find them there. I'll put links in the videos. And Coach, I appreciate it. Thank you for the hat. Thank you for the shirt.
Of course.
And
Go Panthers.
I'll wear it. I'm coming out here. Was it August 24th?
Sure.
For the GACA coaches.
Yes.
August 23rd, maybe. It's a Saturday. And so we're going to have Stars Mill, Cherokee, and Parkview with our good buddies from the GACA battling it out. So are we going Facebook Live on that one?
Sure, we can. Yeah, we'll make it work.
We're going to have fun on that one.
Make some magic happen.
Coach, I do appreciate you. Best of luck and everything.
Thank you.